Hi, Karen. It's so nice to see you and have you here on my show. I'm so excited to share what you're doing in the world. And I love inspiring people, and health and wellness is such a big part of my passion. And I just love bringing experts like yourself. And yeah, tell us a little bit about you and your background and what you're doing in the world with your health and
Well,
wellness.
first, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And yes, health and wellness is definitely my passion. It's kind of been my passion. Well, fitness has been my passion forever, I would say, because when a million years ago when I started, who thought about wellness? I mean, it just was, I think that's a newer term. So I started teaching aerobics in freshman year of Michigan State. A friend of mine was teaching and I just jumped right in, the big hair, the leotards, the whole bit. That was kind of my thing. And I did that forever until it turned into other things. And then I became a mom and I worked, but I always taught classes. I taught, step aerobics and everything. And then it morphed into Pilates and spinning and all kinds of things. And it's always been my passion forever. And it's interesting because my daughter, who is my business partner in my fitness brand, Fuse Live, she always teases me that it's like in her DNA. I mean, I used to take her to work out with me when, she was 10 years old. And it's just been a part of kind of our relationship. And I think it's a very healthy part of a relationship because as a mother, especially if you have daughters, I think it's so important to teach by example. And I've never been fanatical as far as I don't believe in crazy diets or even crazy workouts. It's all about balance in life. And
Yeah.
that's kind of thing that I've always really strived for. But life is crazy. So balance doesn't always happen, right?
Yeah, look amazing. So you're doing so many things right. But tell us, what were you at college? What were you in college for when you originally were at MSU and you started in the aerobics?
Well, I was an advertising major and I worked in the advertising world for a while and I love it because I have a kind of a big creative side to me but even when I was working at an agency and being a full-time mom, I always had my foot in the fitness store. It's again, it's just something that's always made me feel good. And that's kind of the cool concept, and I say that very with a lot of thought behind it. Because yes, at the end of the day, if you take good care of yourself, you're going to look good. But the reality is that's not what it's about. And it's really kind of never been what it's about for me. I find it's always been about my power and my control. And so my daughter, when, I did my thing, she grew up, she went to Michigan, she went to business school and moved to New York and got some fancy high powered marketing job in the business world. But our dream was always to open up fitness studios together. And sure enough, it took a while because I had my own studio in my house and we did it. We came up with this concept. She moved home. And I remember sitting down in front of right before we opened our doors with my instructors and saying, I need all of you to understand something and keep this in your head always. 90% of the people walking through our doors are not coming in for their bodies. It's because they have to work off stress. They need to feel safe. They need to feel in control. They need to feel powerful. That's what we need to give them. And that's really been my journey forever. It is helping people find their power and take control of themselves. Because as you know, we chatted ahead of time. We've each had our own stuff. Everybody has stuff. And life gets crazy. It's a crazy world right now. And the more control you can take of yourself, the more empowered, hence the empowered, that you can feel, oh my God, it like magic happens.
I love
So,
that. Yeah, I love
yeah.
the message that you're conveying because it's not all about just what you look like. Because your brand is kind of live ageless and defy aging. And you're 60 years old, you share it, you're absolutely gorgeous, and like you don't look at
Grandmother, two little boys. Yeah.
yeah, and your grandma, but it's like I love that message you're saying, because it really starts with the body and the mind. Like, there's a rabbi near my home here in Florida, and the wife, they have 8 children, and the wife I'll see walking. And I said to her, I rode my bike and I run into her walking, and she's always on the phone with her mother or something. But I said, when I saw her, I said, yeah, I always see you walking. I said, that's amazing. She goes, yeah. I go, we were basically saying, we need to do it, but it was more for up here than
100%.
anything physical. It's literally makes you feel better. So I love what you're saying. And it's so cool because not everyone even knows what you're saying. I mean, that's such a mindful way I love that. So you have
Part of it.
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go. I apologize.
Oh, no, I was just saying that, like, you have this inner flame that's like, it seems like that's just so strong around living empowered. And this empowers you to take control of your body and to feel good, because it really does start with the body, the physical body. The more I learn and grow and evolve and get into spirituality and all the things about taking, bringing in money, bringing in love, bringing in everything. It really starts with how you feel and like the body. And it's just incredible. Like, you eat well and you're doing well for a couple of days and you look good, and then like you feel good, and then all of a sudden, like you eat a certain way and you're just starting to feel good. It's like crazy. But yeah.
Exactly. And these are choices that you make. And to be perfectly candid, like I said, I was always into fitness. The wellness part came later. And honestly, it really came, and I'm being very vulnerable right now. I had was going through a very, very challenging divorce. And I felt like all my power was being stripped from me. And my life was spinning out of control. And my head was in a zillion places. And I was sinking into a very dark place. And that's not in my nature. And I didn't know what to do with myself. And it's just kind of like one day I had to really look inward and say, okay, what are my strengths? And my strength is my fitness and all of that, because I had to reinvent myself basically. And then I took it further into the whole wellness component and realized, wow, the choices I make to put into my body, like, we have so little choices in life. So many things are just out of our control. And all of a sudden I took my control back, and I started eating healthy and researching and looking into supplements and different, vegetables and all kinds of things. And all of a sudden it was just mind blowing to me, because no matter what was going on in my divorce and my craziness, it didn't matter. I was in control of me. And that's something that I really profess, because I have a lot of clients that come to me and they're going through divorces. Their kids are struggling with addiction and all kinds of things. People have a lot of stuff. And it's like, okay, you can't go down with other people's stuff, especially when you have that. Now it's time to focus on you. And, we're in our 50s plus, and I find, and you're a mom also, when your kids are little, it's all about your kids. Everything's about your kids. I have a daughter with 2 kids, and her head spins. It's all about her kids. And then as you get older, your kids move away. Then it's all of a sudden like, wait a minute, it's my turn now. Yeah, how cool is that? It's like, wait a minute, I'm in my 50s and my 60s. I don't care how old you are. It's time for you. And the one thing that I try and really profess to people, because especially if you're a mother, it's like you feel selfish taking care of yourself, because who takes that kind of time for themselves? But in reality, it's the most selfless thing you can do, and the biggest gift you can give to everyone that's part of your world. So, which is really kind of cool. It's just a whole different way to think about things.
It's such music to my ears, because I mean, it's programming, like from the church and the different places. It's programmed in these people that, caring for yourself is selfish. And it's so, like you said, the opposite. If you don't fill your cup first, if you don't take care of you first, you are not going to be good for anybody else. You are not going to be the best wife or mother or friend or anything, employee or employer. I mean, you just want to feel good. It's, oh my gosh. So
I feel like for some reason as women, you're right. It's like from birth, it's like ingrained in our heads. And my goal, I have 1 daughter, but I have 2 sons. was really to instill in her that this bravery, and I'm going to use that term because I feel like for a woman, it's like you have to be brave to get out of that box and to say, you know what, I need time for me. I need to take care of me so I can take care of you, or my work, or whatever it is, because it all kind of starts from us, and it all starts from within, and a lot of it is really like this whole mindset and this mind shift, and it's hard to reprogram yourself.
It is, but it's really codependency too. Like a lot of
Oh,
it
I
is
was the
codependent.
queen of that, so I get that.
Oh yeah, I was codependent with my other dog. I'm probably codependent with this dog. It sounds funny, but it's freaking the truth. It's wild, but that's, we do that. It's especially women, you're right. So was there any mentor or any books or anything that like impacted you other than your own experience? Like you shared, thank you for sharing vulnerable, that you went through something very hard and challenging and you just paid attention and said, okay, what can I do right now to feel better? What can I do to take control of my life? And you did. But was there any influence, like a book or any kind of, just curious?
It's interesting. There wouldn't be one book per se. I do a lot of research, and sometimes it's an article, and sometimes it's a book, and sometimes it's a combo of a lot of things. I mean, a lot of it, I truly believe in therapy. I have a fabulous therapist that I see regularly, and I know people kind of a little taboo it, and I'm very open and forthcoming about it because I feel like everyone needs somebody, and everybody needs some sort of help, and it really kind of keeps me in check. And so that's been really helpful, and I have been blessed with some of the world's greatest women in my life that I think I just kind of extrapolate a piece and a part of these women, my closest friends. And again, I'm just truly blessed by that. There's nothing in particular. I don't know. It's just a whole open-mindedness and really a mind shift, because listen, there's been a lot of times in my life where, I worked out because I wanted to look good in my bikini or my little black dress or whatever it is. And I'm just so over that, because the reality is there's a lot of people out there that are size nothing, but they're miserable. And there's nothing good about that. And the better you feel about you, you're going to walk through a room and people are going to look, because you're just going to exude this aura of confidence. And I think there's something so cool about a really confident woman, because you just know they feel good from the inside. And the one big thing that I stress to a lot of people, and it's a big question, is your why, and why do you want to change? Because creating a lifestyle of change, creating this my live ageless lifestyle is all about making healthy, sustainable changes. They're little changes that build on top of each other and create this one giant, beautiful change. But if you don't know what your why is, you don't know what your driving force is, chances are you're going to get lost along the way. And I think that that's super important.
Yeah, it's like your motivation. It's your reason. It's your
motivation.
It's their motivation. And I finally it's like when you make a final decision, like that's it. This is it. I'm done. And it's truly a lifestyle, because I grew up in like the habits, like I realize certain behaviors and like food choices, it's freaking a habit. It's like habit to choose bad. Yeah, and to not eat like balanced and all these things. But I definitely want to hear a little bit about some of the advice you can give, because you share these fabulous recipes and these amazing workouts, and just a little bit of some of your tips. But so you have the group Live Ageless on Facebook, and then what else? You're coaching now, correct?
That's my coaching program. I call the Live Ageless Method, and yes, so that's part of what I do. And then the other part is what I've been doing with my daughter. We pivoted online since COVID, and we have our Fuse Live, and they are daily live, high intensity but low impact workouts. And then there's probably have 1,000 of them on demand. In the low impact is a really big key. Talking to someone I've had to have my knee replaced. I've had all kinds of orthopedic things, because back in the day when I used to teach aerobics on cement floors and we'd jump around who knew back then? I'm a lot smarter now. So you want to move your body so that you can continue to move your body. Does that make sense? You don't
Oh,
need
yeah.
to lift 3 million pounds over your head, because you're never going to do that in real life. You need to be able to stand and sit and be on the ground and lift your body up. And so what we do is very functional, and I'm all about functionality because I don't like to waste time. So what you're doing should work for everything in your life, right? And especially as you age. And, I'm at a place where I have these 2 little grandsons, one's almost 5 and one's almost 3. And they want me to climb on jungle gyms with them and chase them. And I'm not saying no to anything. So, it's pretty cool to be able to keep up.
Yeah.
And, a lot of it is how you treat your body. Again, we talk about it. So talk about tips. Your food is so important. The number one thing, and it's funny as I'm drinking my water, and I find that so many people struggle, is with their water intake. And not only is it important for your body, your brain is made of, I believe it's 72% of water. And so if this is an interesting thing. So you're supposed to have, in a perfect world, half of your body weight of fluid ounces of water. So you can do your own math on that one. So if you are even the slightest bit dehydrated, which you may not realize you are, your brain doesn't know the difference between if you're dehydrated or you're hungry. It just knows it's missing something. So your go-to is going to be, oh, I better eat something. So hydrating yourself is actually really helpful for every part, for your hair, for your skin, for everything. And for some reason, it's something that people struggle with immensely.
I know.
Yeah.
I realize
That would
that.
be my number one tip, is just, like simple math, just drink your water and move. I mean, it's interesting because I'm a workout person. I work out every day. I do my 45-minute workout. In reality, that's not even enough, and not to put pressure on people, but you need to keep moving. Movement begets movement. And a lot of people sit for their jobs. You need to stand at least once an hour and move around. And I'm a huge Sanjay Gupta fan, and he wrote this whole book about brain and everything. And one thing that he was saying was that for every hour, you need to get up and move for 2 minutes. That's it, just 2 minutes, which is nothing. And it actually stimulates your brain. Forget about your body. A lot of it is just for your attention span and for your brain and for your alertness and for your energy level. And your bodies and your brains are connected. And I think that people miss that point, that they work on their bodies. They think everything's compartmentalized, but it's not. And, especially as we're aging, certain foods that you eat help your heart, help your brain. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, food is truly like a medicine if you look at it that way.
Yeah, it is a medicine. I had that jotted down, like food is medicine, and food is also like, what I say it as a drug. I mean, people can be addicted. Yeah, it's like a drug.
Oh,
It's a healing tool as well. So yeah, and people are, have that addiction at times. But what I wanted to ask, so like keto and paleo, like the keto, like I did that and I lost weight and my legs looked better than they looked when I was 15. That was the first time I did keto and I liked it and stuff. But then, I tried it again. It's just not sustainable for me. But I want to hear what you have to say about like that. And then Denise Austin, I think you know who she is because of our age. Yeah. So that's how I lost weight after I had my son, is I would watch her 30-minute videos and she always gave little tips and I loved her. And she would say, if you're going to eat at night, eat protein. She'd say, eat well 80% and have your treats 20%, everything in moderation. And she'd also say, food is not the enemy. Sitting still is the enemy. That's what you would say. So these are things that stuck in my head years later, and so like the keto and like, what do you just recommend? Just healthy,
well,
balance?
I'm going to jump on Denise Austin's bandwagon on that one. And there's a reason, why she's so successful and why she looks the way she does and moves the way she does, because I am not, again, I have to preface it by me. I do not believe in fanaticism, period. I mean, there are people that have dietary restrictions that is different for health reasons. It's completely different. The problem with something like keto Okay, so yes, you're going to lose weight because you're cutting all the carbs out of your body. So sure, simple math will do that. But the problem with it is once you go back and you introduce carbs, your body has no idea how to process it, and it basically goes into shock. You don't want to count calories because calories are not equal. You can take the calories of, I'm looking around, for example, of an avocado, okay, which has amazing healthy fats, amazing health benefits for you, okay? I believe it's about 240 calories. It's the same as a Snickers bar, right? So if you're counting calories and that's what you're basing it on, shoot, I would pick the Snickers bar, right? I mean, I wouldn't, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You have to choose your foods wisely because you need carbs. Carbs are your fuel. Your brain needs carbs. Your body needs carbs, but it needs correct carbs. You don't need potato chips, okay? You don't ever need them. You can choose them, but you don't need them.
Yes.
And yes, you're going to be happiest in life if your life is in balance. The 80-20 rule is really how I live my life, and I feel it is the most sustainable. I would say I eat clean a good 80% of the time. 20% of the time, I'm going to have what I want because I don't like to. The minute I tell myself, or I tell you, if you're my client, you can't have that. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to go to it. I mean, that's not sustainable.
2 questions. Fruit. I love fruit. I want to hear, do you eat fruit? Do you recommend fruit? What do you think of fruit? And can you get fat eating fruit? I mean,
Well, there's all different, first of all, berries. Blueberry, the darker the better, okay? Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, berries. You can never have too many berries.
okay.
First of all, they're lower in sugar. They have high antioxidants. Blueberries are great for your brain health, for everything, okay? So berries are amazing. The fruits you need to worry about, bananas have a ton of sugar. They also have a lot of potassium. I personally don't eat a lot of bananas. I found them very filling, and they do have a lot of sugar. I'm much more of a vegetable eater. I'm not a sweet person, but berries are my go-to. Watermelon has a lot of great properties to it. It's like anything else. You can have
Quantity, right?
a little, a slice of watermelon, and you can have a whole thing of watermelon. It's just portioning yourself and being realistic in what you choose to eat. And yes, I'd much rather, and listen, my husband, my daughter always laughs at me. I don't like big fruit. Some of these apples, I swear to God, they're like this big now. I mean, it could take me 3 days to eat that thing. So you don't need a whole giant apple. Eat half of it, cut it in pieces.
Yeah.
Portion things out, especially if you are struggling with portion control. What I find a lot of people do is fruit is good for you, but if you eat a whole bowl of it, it's not.
Yeah.
So put some in a bowl, walk away from it, and you're good.
I love 2 things. I love what you're doing on in your group where you're giving these tips, these food tips, these you did for Super Bowl Sunday, these amazing little recipes that were healthy choices, because that's the thing. I mean, we shouldn't really count calories, but at the same time, you're consuming, if you're mindless, like you're not mindful and you're consuming, you are consuming a ton of calories, and like your healthy choice tips are like amazing, and
well, thank you for that. But you just said something so profound. It's mindless eating. You want to be mindful. Even if you're going to eat a piece of chocolate cake or whatever, be mindful and enjoy it. It's my birthday. I'm going to eat a piece of cake. Or I just feel like it. Great. Own it. Don't be mindless in doing it, because then you're going to eat the whole cake, or you're going to eat 2 pieces. Do you know what I mean? You just want to be really mindful in everything you're doing. You want to make sure in protein, you talked about that a little bit earlier. Protein is huge. So I'm going to get a little geeky on you for a second. You want, rule of thumb, you want to eat 1.5 grams of protein for every pound of your ideal weight. So if you,
it's
your ideal weight, not how much you weigh right now. You may be at your ideal weight. So if your ideal weight is 140, I'm making that up, and you weigh 160, that's not your math.
Okay.
So it's you want to
40, right, would be times 1.5.
of your ideal weight. Yes. And that's how many grams of protein
per day that you
in the,
should consume.
yeah. So there's a couple little things when you're looking to eat. You want to make sure on your plate. Okay. So if I have a plate, you cut it in half. Okay. And then cut it in quarters. You want to make sure that at least a quarter to a third of your plate has the protein in it. Then you want your vegetables and and carbs are fine as long as they're complex carbs. You don't want to eat anything white, bleached out. You want it to be, your quinoas, your farros, your brown rice, things like that. But protein, first off, protein keeps you full longer. Lean protein does. It helps you build lean muscle mass, and especially as we age, this is a problem with women that are 40 plus that all of a sudden go on these diets and they lose all this weight. So what happens? The first thing you're going to lose is your lean muscle mass. Unfortunately, that's the truth. You don't lose your fat from your hips or from wherever. It doesn't work like that. So when you lose your lean muscle mass, it's really hard to rebuild. And it's your lean muscle mass that helps you burn more calories. So women that are out there in particular that are afraid to lift some weights, please don't be. You don't have to throw 300 pounds again over your head, but you could lift an 8 or 10 pound weight because you're going to develop that lean muscle mass. You will burn more calories. So you have to be mindful of everything that you do. And then it becomes natural, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And
I go through a lot of my clients and we do food logging and it's amazing how many people until they hit dinner, they don't even put any protein in their body.
I know, I'm good.
Protein in every meal.
Yeah, I was vegetarian for like 3 years. So yeah, and I want to ask you about supplements and then, muscle burns fat even at rest, correct? That's one thing. I don't know if that was a Denise thing. It probably was something that stuck in my head that said muscle burns
100%.
even at rest. Yeah. So muscle's huge. But tell me, like, I have a friend, she is a Zumba instructor. She's older than you and she looks phenomenal. She works out with a trainer 2 days a week, weights, the rest she's just doing her Zumba, and she's basically somewhat keto, somewhat like she does and she's intermittent fast in the morning. So, but she takes like a lot of things. And it's great if it works, and it's great that you support yourself the way you know how to support yourself. But I just want to hear your opinion on supplements and things like that for us at our age.
Well, it's kind of an interesting thing they brought it up. So there was a time a couple of years ago, I was really into supplements and I was taking, a ton. I swear it took me like 5 minutes in the morning and I could rattle them off. And then I went to my doctor, who I went to like junior high with. I've known her and I trust her implicitly. And, they ask you, what do you take? And I rattled and I even wrote it down. And she looks at me, she says, why are you taking everything? And I, because I read this and I read this and I read that, on and on. And she said, let me do blood work and see what you're deficient in. Because if you're not deficient in everything you're taking, you flush it right out. So the best way to answer that is really to see your doctor, to get a panel, your blood work done, and to see if you're actually missing anything as far as different vitamins and stuff, because I was taking all the stuff that I didn't even need.
But do you take a multivitamin?
I'm not taking multivitamin anymore because my blood work came back that I don't need it. I was actually I had too much B12 in my system. I was almost like overdoing it. So it's really best, knowledge is power. And I'm a big proponent of that. So I had like a full panel taken. What I do take, and it's funny because I have it right here because we were just talking about it. I take collagen every morning. I take CBD. I've had a lot of joint issues. I have arthritis and CBD has really helped me. There's a lot of.
Yeah, my friend takes it too for sleep. She takes that and melatonin. I do a melatonin spray sometimes. And I have done the CBD before. My dog takes CBD, but sometimes.
No, it's great. It's funny. I know a lot of people's dogs take it. That's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for calming. But I had a bad experience with CBD here in Florida. I stopped in a place in Venice and I just said, hey, I need something for sleep. And he gave me something and thank God I was home when it started to take effect, because what he gave me, it was like literally like really bad marijuana. I mean, like, not, I'm not gonna say
Oh, you
bad.
probably get you THC in it. Yeah, no, you don't
It's
want to
not
do that.
legal here. I think it was a CBD, I don't know. But so I cut it in half, but it's still, I just have to go to a better place where Michelle goes probably.
Well, I found a brand, actually I use, it's WANA, WANA. And
Okay.
I was struggling with sleep, and I do want to touch on this.
Yeah.
Sleep is enormously important. Sleep is not overrated, just for the record. It is a huge part of your well-balanced overall health. And for some reason, it's like something that people just kind of like push away. And I was struggling with sleep. First of all, when you're menopausal, it happens. If you have a lot of stuff in your mind, it happens. And I needed to fix that. And I started taking these, they're by WANA, and they're 2 part CBD and 1 part THC. It is legal here. And I take half of them, and it has changed my whole life, literally, because I sleep great. And every one of my clients and all my friends, I mean, it's like,
That's incredible. No, it's so important. I woke up yesterday and I felt like $1,000,000. I slept amazing. I had nothing. I didn't take anything. I had great sleep. I mean, great sleep for me. I'm still up in the night to use the restroom or whatever, but I slept great. Today, no, did not sleep well last night, or I didn't sleep long enough, but I feel better now because I, moved my body, I did different things to like support myself to where we are today, this moment. But earlier I felt not good. What about caffeine? Do you personally take coffee, use coffee? What is your
I
opinion?
have coffee, honestly. I'm going to share my morning routine with you
Yes,
because I think
wonderful.
it's really helpful.
Great.
I take, first thing I do in the morning, so technically I'm breaking my fast with it, if you will. I take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of real lemon juice, not like the crappy kind, and about a tablespoon of honey. So honey is a natural antibiotic, just so you know. And I mix it with, in a coffee mug with hot water. Now my daughter does it with like cold water. I like it hot. I drink that. That's the first thing I drink in the morning, and it really helps kind of clean your system out. And then I only have 1 cup of coffee after that. I used to have more coffee, but now that I have that, it seems to really satisfy me. So I really only have 1, just because I don't really need the caffeine, and that's,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of camps on caffeine, but the more I've been reading, caffeine is actually, if you have a good relationship with it, if you will, it's good for you. If you have more than 2 cups a day, it's really not. I'm a big proponent of herbal teas. I drink a green tea almost every day in the afternoon. It's calming. It's got a lot of antioxidants in it. And that's kind of the time of day for me where I would like want a snack. And just something about drinking something more really, really pacifies me. So you kind of have to find your own little groove that works for you.
Yeah, and I caught some Instagram yesterday of your daughter and you, and oh my God,
Oh, yeah.
good stuff. Like that's exactly what I need. I personally need, because Zumba, it's great, but it's not enough. It's fun and it's cardio, but
Which is great.
it is great. But it's not enough. Like I have to do weights, I have to, and like by myself without a trainer, it's like your workout, like what I saw, like I was like, wow, I can do that right here, my apartment.
Yes,
Like,
you can. And I'll
yeah,
tell you what you need 4 things, okay? And again, I'm speaking men too, but predominantly women, is because our bodies are different. You have to work out. You have to, you need cardio. You need weights. You actually have to lift weights. You need resistance. So those would be like a resistance band type thing. And you need to work to use body weight. You need all 4 of those components, not just one piece of it. And they're each so important, and they don't stand alone. You can't just do weights or just do cardio. The people that just do cardio have no lean muscle mass. The people just that do weights, you tend to get hurt. You really need the resistance. And body weight is so important because you need to be able to lift your body, your own body, because no one's going to schlep you up. You have to do that. And if you ever, and hopefully not, but have an injury, I had my knee replaced and I really had to depend on my own body weight. You should have seen me getting up the stairs. I didn't want any help from anyone, God forbid, right? And I would just scoot up the stairs, lifting my own body weight up. And it's amazing what you can do and what you need to be able to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer that question, Zoom was great. I mean, at the end of the day, anything you do that you're going to keep doing is what you should do. But you need all of it. You need strength training. We really need to strengthen our bones. And
Yeah.
for any woman that's over 50, I strongly recommend getting a bone density test. It's very telling.
Yeah. And I got myself off a thyroid pill and he kept talking about bone density. And I was like, I felt like I was too young, but now you're telling me I need it.
Oh, no, you're not too young. Yeah, you need to get your bone density test, but first of all, you need a baseline and you have to see where you'd be surprised. And a lot of times if your bone density is off, if you're getting into osteopenia or osteopenia, it's because you're probably missing the strength training.
Yeah.
And I'm a Pilates instructor and I love Pilates in a lot of, in bar and all that. And I think it's all fabulous and it's a great thing to mix in, but you do need those weights. You do need to do good old fashioned push-ups and pull-ups and be able to lift your body weight up.
Yeah, this is going to help a lot of people, this episode, because there's women out there that do not lift weights and they don't think much of it and they really don't understand. And we cannot get as big as a man. We are not going to look like a man. It's never going to happen unless you're taking,
steroids or something. That's what women have this fallacy that, oh my goodness, if I lift anything more than 5 pounds, I'm going to get bulky. You're not going to get, you're going to get leaner. There's no way you're going to get bulky.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. And I have 70-year-old clients, 70 plus, that literally can do full pull-ups because that's my thing. You have to be able to pull your own body weight up. And you'd be amazed how many people cannot do that, but it's pretty cool to see.
Incredible. Let's see. Is there anything else you want to share about the Live Ageless group or?
Yes, I am. So what my Live Ageless, and yes, it is all about defying your age, which in theory kind of sounds a little superficial, but it's not. It's about how you move and how you think and how you're feeling about yourself. That's what defying your age really means. Not so much, if you're coloring your hair or you're getting Botox or anything like that, because that's all your own jam. So I do work with clients privately, and that's a pretty intense one-on-one, and we're in constant contact about everything from what you eat pretty much every day to how you're moving. And I also am putting together groups, which we will be meeting via Zoom and going over things that are so important to your health, your mindset and emotional eating and how to combat stress, because stress might be the #1 killer. I mean, truly, I don't care if you're thin or if you're heavy, or if you're young, or if you're old, if you cannot manage your stress in a healthy way, it's going to overtake you. And that is a huge part of what I work on with people. And it's like peeling back those layers and letting yourself become vulnerable. And again, I go back to my therapist and my own experience in therapy and how being able to let go of things. And that's the only way you can move forward, is you kind of like knock down that past, right?
Yeah, surrender. A lot of it's surrender. Like you can't control what you can't control. You let go and you accept what is and surrender to what is. And I have a lot of things that support me, like books and cards, spiritual cards and meditation and different things that, help me with that, because you can't change others. You can't change things that are in the world.
It's exactly what it is. You can't change the people that are causing you stress. You can't change that. You can change
right.
How you behave. And again, I'm going back to that whole power thing, because it really, during this time of my crazy life, and it was very challenging. I was teaching cycling classes, indoor cycling. This was before I had my own studio. And I don't know if you've ever taken a cycling class, but you don't move. So you're going nowhere for 45 minutes. All right. And it's challenging as can be. And you as an instructor need to sit in front of these people and really take them somewhere special and let them get out of their own heads. And I remember sitting on top of these bikes thinking, oh my God, like this is my time. This is where I need to let go of all of this and really, kind of push through, and it just became so, I literally would feel my own power take on it. I know it sounds kind of hokey, but I would say to people, you need to think about what color your cape is, because everyone's got a superhero in them and you can get through anything, not easily, but you can. And if you have the right support system and the right plan, and if you believe in yourself, and if you find your power, and I say this a lot, but like, I swear, like this crazy magic happens. And all of a sudden it's just, you feel good about you, and whatever happens in the day, it's going to happen and you're going to figure it out. And you can have a bad day and that's fine, because the next day it's going to be great. And it's pretty cool if you just kind of just reset how you think a little bit,
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Everything's our lenses, our perception,
100%.
programming, old ways of thinking and being that don't serve. Like, that's why I created the podcast, is because I overcame so much and I want to share with the world. I want to inspire people. I want to motivate people. I want to empower people and educate them by bringing guests like you and just helping heal this planet, because and it's fun to me. I enjoy this so much. But that was just incredible advice, and it's so true. It's like, you can control what you put in your mouth. You can choose better thoughts. You can control what's going on in this mind of yours. You can.
And it doesn't make it easy, and it's not, and it's work, and it's a challenge. And it's funny, once you start taking really good care of yourself and you eat healthy, and then all of a sudden, if you have like a bad day, you go out for dinner and then you just feel bad. So it's interesting. Your body becomes used to all this positivity.
Oh.
And, people always tease me when I go on vacation. Oh, I always work out. The first thing I do is check out the gym. Literally, it's the first thing I do. Where's the gym? I got to check it out. And I research, because I won't stay at a hotel that doesn't have a good gym, because for me, that's like my freedom. That's my space. That's my playground. And it makes me feel so good about myself. And I have clients that come to me and, they got into a fight with their husband, or who knows what's going on. And I can see their body language, and they leave and they're just like floating. And it's so cool to me. It's a gift. It's a gift.
Yeah. It's just, my son said something really smart. He said, "You're
I love
never."
when kids do that.
Pardon?
I love when kids say something smart.
Yeah, because I think I said something to him about like there's like this place down here that it's a vegan, gluten-free place, and they have like protein brownies, and like, it's still a brownie though. I mean, it tastes amazing and it's healthy, but it's still a brownie. It has sugar and stuff. And he's like, "You're never going to regret the decision." Like, how you could go to the gym, and then if you choose not to, or you could eat the brownie, or you could choose not to. He's saying you're never going to regret the good decision, like the decision to go to the gym. You won't regret. Like, it was how he said it. I'm not really saying it the way he said it.
No, but I know what you mean. No one ever leaves a workout or a healthy meal saying, "Oh, I wish I would have eaten the cheeseburger instead," or I wish I didn't work out. Never. You always feel better. 100 out of 100 times.
Yeah. And that's a thing just we can touch on, that women deal with. And I myself have like the shame, like, you make a bad decision, you overeat, and then it's like this shame. And it's like, that's the last thing you should be doing. Is you should be giving compassion to yourself instead of shame.
That is a beautiful way to say that. Exactly. And something, sometimes and that's why I said about being mindful. So if you want to eat whatever, you're just in the mood for I don't know, who cares? Whatever it is, fill in your own blank. Give that to yourself and be okay with it. Because you know what? You should never feel shameful about what you ate or what you didn't do that day. Sometimes you just need a day. And you know what? You deserved it. Shame is tough. Shame is a tough one. And you got to stay as far away from that as possible. And for some reason, I feel like women's minds are like made to feel that way, which is terrible. I don't think men feel shameful quite the same.
Right, right. It's again, it's programming and yeah, and just society and how women, like you said, it's like the looks and it's all, a lot of it sounds superficial, but truly feeling good starts from the inside. And, confidence is very attractive in every.
It's exactly what it is. It is so attractive. And here's the cool thing. If you start being really good to you, okay, because everything starts from you. So you start being really good to you, what's going to happen? You're going to start being really good to everybody. It's true, because when I was in a bad place, I was so judgmental. Oh, I did not like that person that I was many years ago. I was very judgmental because I didn't like me. So I wasn't good to me. I didn't like me. So I just projected it onto everybody,
Yeah,
which is terrible.
I
So
know.
now you got to flip it and you have to feel really good about yourself. You have to be good to yourself. So then you have no judgment on you. You're not going to judge anybody else either. And then the world becomes a much more beautiful place, don't you think?
Absolutely. Now, has your therapist or have you done any affirmations or any of that mirror work? Are you?
No, she doesn't work like that, oddly enough. But I've read a lot about it, which is pretty cool. And I do believe in it. It's just not kind of how she
Yeah.
works. I do that with my clients a lot because they need that. And, I like to give people, and everyone reacts to different things in different ways. So you kind of have to find that sweet spot. But affirmation is always a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, especially people that weren't raised with anyone giving them or lifting them up, it's
Right.
just, it's good and helpful. So,
And
well,
something else, and I'm just going to share this with you as we're, kind of winding up. Another way to be good to yourself, and especially if you're someone that struggles with that, and a lot of people do, and this may sound cutesy, and I'm not trying to be, write yourself a note. Just write something nice and put it where you can see it on your computer, on your mirror. Have a good day, anything. You did a great job, whatever it is. You're constantly telling everyone else, oh my God, you did amazing. You did this. Look in the mirror and say, you're awesome. I mean, just good for you. And it's just how it feels. And then you're going to start giving that to everyone. And that's what you're going to exude to the world. And that's a cool space to be in.
oh, so good, so good. Do you have any advice for someone that doesn't know where to begin?
Yeah, the cool thing is you don't know where to begin, first of all. And it doesn't have to be with me. I'm not trying to necessarily promote myself, but ask for help. There's so many, you know, looking on the internet, you're going to find a million different things. Find someone that you trust, find someone that, I don't care if it's a friend or a sister or a brother or a mother or a coach or a therapist, but find someone you trust and be honest and say, this is where I'm struggling and I need help. And that's the best place to start, because otherwise you may spin your wheels a little bit. And the number one thing that everyone can do today, you can start the second, is just move, just walk, just little stuff. Get up. I try and tell everyone minimum of 7,500 steps a day. Just go take a walk. Just make a phone call, take a walk.
Yeah.
So that's a good place to start.
So good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel like we could talk hours for hours.
I know, I probably could. I'll come back another time.
We could have a part two. We'll have a part two down the road. But thank you so much for everything, Karen, all your tips and wisdom and experience and advice. And then tell people how they can find you.
Well, you can find me. You can join my private Facebook group. It's called Live Ageless, and just ask to join and I'll let you in. You can find me. How else can you find me? You can find me on my private Facebook group and just send me a message, Karen Kelman. And Fuse Live is our at-home virtual workouts, and we do 2 weeks free. So it's Fuse Live. It's also on, you can either look it up on Facebook or on the internet, and will pop up. So lots of ways to find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. This was great.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This was excellent, and I really respect what you are doing, and kudos to you for being brave and, putting people out there. So I like it a lot.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you.